Next, we're going to welcome Michelle Atlas. I know she's here in the room, so welcome, Michelle. I'll give a little intro to you while you get yourself up on screen. You can unmute yourself. Michelle Atlas is a professional certified coach. She's one part business coach, one part resilience mentor, one part spiritual guide, and one part soul purpose midwife. She's taught top U.S. federal government leaders how to strengthen their resilience and effectively navigate nonstop change. When President Obama was in office, I was going to say my favorite president. Miss him a little bit. She's also an author of the Daily course, Overcoming Money Shame, and currently writing her first book. So, Michelle, welcome, welcome, welcome. I can't wait to hear what you're going to share with us today about going from breaking down to breakthrough to your soul's true calling.
Yeah, hi everybody. So happy to be here. So let me know, Jamie, if there's anything I need to do differently, tech-wise. But great, yeah. So it's so wonderful. Thanks so much to everybody who's here live. So I wanted to just start by talking a little bit about this idea. I do a lot of work with women around their emotional relationship to money, particularly female entrepreneurs and women transitioning from conventional careers into self-employment, that whole kind of self-employment adventure. And most of the women that I work with are, something like me. We're intuitive, we're creative, right brainers, we're, deep women who are really looking for deep meaning in our businesses and in our lives. And what happens is that very often people come into my world because they're struggling in their relationship to money, as I said, and they start to feel, but they're also feeling depleted. They're feeling a little frustrated. They're feeling like they're doing all the right things and they don't know exactly why they're not making the money that they feel they should or could be generating for their gifts. And what I've learned over the years is that our relationship with money is about so much more than money. And money, like health and love, our health and relationships, is the third area that we absolutely must be resilient. We need to cultivate and strengthen our resilience, and it's so crucial, right? Those are the three domains of life: money, love, and health, that just about everything falls under that one of those umbrellas or the other. So what I've discovered is that when people hyper focus on their relationship to money, it doesn't improve. And so there's a subtle shift that I've undergone in my own business and that I've observed and now facilitate with all of my clients. Most of us have gone through something very difficult. And I think if you're here at a resilience summit, maybe you have had some hardship in your life, some trauma, whatever it is that really drove you to want to strengthen your resilience or better understand the depth of your experience as a human being. What happens is that most of us, when we go through a tough time, we come back to our baseline, right? We're resilient enough to come back to what we call surviving, right? We hear the concept surviving a lot, like I survived, right? And what that really means in resilience psychology, within the model that I'm trained in, which was based on a gazillion years of research, and is that surviving is really, again, coming back to where you were. So it's sort of like returning to what your normal was before the hardship or the difficulty. Thriving is a whole other story. Thriving, and then the minority of people that have difficulties actually move into the phase that we call thriving. So thriving is when you go beyond surviving, when you really have used your very toughest times to go to deep places, depth within yourself that, had the hardship not occurred, you might never have traveled to, and really mine the diamonds in that darkness, the gold in that darkness, so that your toughest times sort of catalyze you becoming something and experiencing something and ultimately becoming capable of expressing something that you would not have been able to had that difficulty not occurred. So what I find is that when people come into my world, when women come into my world feeling depleted in their businesses, not making enough money, knowing in their heart and soul that they are gifted, they're genuine, their work is heartfelt, heart and soul felt. Doing the detective work that I've honed over all these years, what I have found is that they've stopped being moved by their own work. And so nobody else is either. And it can be very subtle, right? They start thinking that they're in their soul's calling. They start thinking that they're doing what they're supposed to do or what they think they're here to do. And a lot of the time, like myself several years ago, we're kind of almost doing our soul's calling. Like we're almost, sharing our deepest gifts, but we're not fully, just again, sharing the depth of what we really, of the wisdom and what we really came here to bring to this amazing world that we happen to be living in right now. And so, we're not necessarily saying what we really want to say, writing what we really want to write, creating the offers that we really want to be offering, so that we can catalyze the transformation we know is really possible. And so, so in terms of this idea of soul's calling and really aligning with the depth of your soul's calling, again, this is where you become so moved by your own work that other people are happy to pay you for your services because there's such a deep and profound emotional connection to your energetic, to who you're being, because you're moved and you're inspired, and also to, what you've created from that place, that there's no question people are really compelled. And this is a beautiful place to be creating from in your business. I'm going to give you a couple of examples of some of my clients who have made this shift. So one of my clients came into my world as a really masterful reflexology practitioner, and she loves doing reflexology, and she's incredible at it, and her clients have always benefited. But she was never able to make the money that she felt she really should be, based on how hard she was working and all that she was doing. Within a very short time of, beginning to kind of do that that archaeological dig, that deep excavation, she bumped into something that, and what we find, I'm going to just backtrack for a moment, because what we find in terms of this idea of breaking, of looking to a deeper breakdown to break through to your true soul's calling, there's what I call a golden thread that usually runs through our entire life, that there's been a theme for most of us. We've had multiple experiences that were tough, that have a certain commonality to them. Most of us have not just had one hardship or one tough time. There usually is a theme. And again, I call this a golden thread, and I call it your soul prosperity theme, because it's where the money is as well as the deep fulfillment and inspiration and all that other good stuff. So when she came into my world, again, she was working really hard as a reflexologist and just not, just exhausting herself and not really feeling very satisfied with the results. When we began to look more deeply within her own relationship to herself, she quickly bumped into the fact that she had always felt bullied throughout her entire life. She had this sort of thread of feeling bullied. She recognized that it was always around her body image, that she never felt good about the body that she had, that she compared herself to other children when she was young, to adults as she got older. And she realized, after a lifetime of feeling really bullied and really alienated about this body image, that she herself had been her greatest bully. That it was really she who had bullied herself from a very, very young age, right? And so in this insidious, subconscious, kind of, not fully conscious bullying pattern, she had really left herself out, and she had really whittled away at her own resilience, is what had happened over the years. When she had this recognition and she realized this, it became extremely clear to her that that a part of her soul's calling was to help other women with their body image, was to come into a deep, loving relationship with her own body that she was just on the crest of, but hadn't really fully embraced, and then to incorporate into her reflexology work, as a blended offer, and then also as a separate offer, work around body image and self-love. And that this was like a very profound and moving expansion for her. So she quickly, it was just like right there, waiting to be birthed, right? She was just on the crest when we came together. So she quickly developed some really beautiful offers. One of them is, I just love the name. One of them is called This Is Me, right? And she began to offer them to her current clients and to new people. And they began to just begin within moments. Her income was exponentially expanded. She began to make more money. People were super excited because, again, she was moved deeply, had been deeply touched by this work, and she was moved by her creations. And so were others. They could feel that, right? It really spoke to their soul. Another example, another quick example, another one of my clients had been working successfully in her business for quite some time, helping people optimize their search engine, their SEO. But she was not, again, lit up by this, right? Most of her life, her golden thread, she had had this experience of navigating some pretty significant challenges with regard to her menstrual cycle. And she'd learned she had all kinds of wisdom. She'd cultivated all kinds of, remedies and practices and beautiful ways of really integrating the difficulties that she'd experienced with her own cycle into an empowered lifestyle for herself, rather than feeling sort of disabled and victimized by it. And she knew in her heart and soul when we came together that what the business she really wanted was one where she taught other women how to empower themselves during the tough times in their menstrual and throughout the month, through the whole cycle. But she hadn't had the courage to leave the business that was, eking out a modest income, but that she felt, sort of safe in to do that. So we're in the process, we're actually in the thick of the process right now of making that transition. But the moment that she began to post about this passion she'd been pregnant with for such a long time, she instantly began to get a very powerful response from women saying, I need that, I want that, right? Again, this is what she's moved by, and it's magnetic. It's how we become magnetic to money. So I want to just do a little very simple practice. I'm going to make some recommendations and interact with you as well during our time together. But I want to just walk you through a very simple practice in the precious time that we have together right now to help you begin to connect with what that might be, for where you might be on the continuum, in terms of how rooted and connected and inspired you are in your own soul's calling, and where you could maybe come into a little bit deeper alignment or a little bit more integrity with that deeper truth that moves you so much that it will light up your business and your bank account, truly. So go ahead, if you would, and I'm going to put you in a different view so I can actually see you, God willing. Okay, there we go. And most of you are not visible. That's okay. I understand. So why don't you go ahead, if you're in a safe place, and close your eyes. Oh, thank you so much for those who turned on your video. It's such a nice connect to see you. So go ahead and close your eyes for a moment and just begin. Oh, thank you, everybody who's coming on. So beautiful to see you. Go ahead and close your eyes and begin noticing your breathing without trying to change it. And just really feel yourself pulling, from all the beautiful stimulation you've already experienced today and all you've been engaged in. Imagine pulling your breath in and down. So in and down into your core. Just imagine all that energy flowing back into you that's gone out today and down. And when you're ready, place your hands on either the cheeks of your face, your heart, or your solar plexus. Wherever they feel called, they're all equally powerful. Cheeks of your face, heart, or solar plexus. Allow yourself to breathe into the gentle pressure of your own touch. Allow yourself to tune into the warmth that will likely quickly be generated by your hand on your own body, even through clothes. Feel that amazing, beautiful, buttery warmth. Allow yourself to feel supported. I see smiles. It's wonderful. Allow yourself to really feel the safety and love and support of you that you're giving yourself. You've got yourself. You're holding yourself. Make sure you're breathing all the way down into your lower back and your hips. And now, when you're ready, gently bring yourself back to one of the toughest times in your life. There's no getting this right or wrong. Whatever comes to mind is probably what you need to be experiencing and feeling right at this moment. And in a way that feels natural and not contrived or forced, sense into, and I know some of us have experienced horrendous hardships and traumas. And so we're in no way, again, slapping a positive Band-Aid on any of that. And at the same time, sensing into any kind of deeper meaning, deeper lesson, some way that that event or experience changed you, something that it gave you, if it gave you, even if it was really painful, if you came out the other end with certain gifts, a certain depth, a shift in perspective about life, anything at all that you feel are kind of your unique gifts as a result of what only you have experienced. They might sound like somebody else's, but only you have experienced your life. And now if you are an entrepreneur in your own business, or even if you're in a career wherever you're working or sort of serving in the world, sense into whether you're really bringing the depth of that experience, of the wisdom that came through your tough time into that work. Are you saying what you really want to be saying to your customers or clients? Are you being, the fully expressed, depth of you? Are you trusting yourself to do that at a really profound level that you know would really light you up, really turn you on? Or are you almost, or maybe are you not even close yet? You can be really honest with yourself. Again, the honesty, just like in the last session, the honesty, the deep and profound self-honesty. Brutal self-honesty is a characteristic of the true feminine. And your deep self-honesty will only open up doors. It will never shut them down. Will only open you to the next experience. So don't be afraid of it. Yeah, beautiful. One more full, beautiful breath cycle. And whenever you're ready, you can open your eyes and come back together. I would love to hear some shares. I'm going to take a quick peek at the chat because I just noticed there's a whole bunch of chatting going on in there. Okay. Okay. It's from the previous session. Fine. Okay. I just want to make sure I wasn't missing anything. So, yeah, so I would love to just to get to know you a little bit, to just hear from some of you about what surfaced during that, or any questions or comments about anything I've shared so far about this whole idea of being moved by your own work and how that organically catalyzes more money flow, or where you feel like you might be almost in your soul's calling, but not quite, or a little bit lost along the lines of, how do you discover this? Anybody want to share or connect? Okay. Okay. So just making sure here. I'm going to take a peek. Okay. There was an awful lot of interesting facial expressions considering that nobody wants to share. Okay. So yeah, it's deep stuff. So a couple of things here. First thing I want to share with you is that when you place your hands on your body like we just did, and you feel that beautiful warmth generated, the moment that your brain registers this support, this gentle touch and the warmth, it triggers oxytocin, the brain chemical responsible for nurturance and feeling connected and feeling safe. And so by placing your hands on yourself like that, you're literally creating a safe environment within your own body within which you can journey and do all sorts of reflection and exploration. So secondly, I want to offer you a way of taking this exploration further. And there are ways that I'll offer you in a moment of taking it further with me, but on your own, a very simple practice, because we're doing great on time. I've learned, over the years, I've learned the hard way, not to overdo. So I'm not overdoing today. I'm wanting to keep it really simple. In the past, I would try to cram 2 hours into a 30-minute session and it didn't serve anybody. So keeping things slowed down, I think, is a very wise idea. So there's a simple practice that a simple little activity you can do further if you'd like to on your own, which is simply what I call the Lifeline Activity. And you just simply take a blank sheet of paper and you draw a line down the center, or it can be vertical or horizontal. And on one side, you just do a brain dump of your toughest times, all your greatest, those moments in life that were really difficult. And in the parallel column, you write down the resources that you used to cope and navigate that tough time. That could be anything, because we cultivate resilience from the inside out. And so resilience is learned from the inside out. So my resilience recipe is going to be different from yours, right? Maybe for you, it's running, and for me, it's meditation. Maybe for you, it's being alone, and for someone else, it's talking to every friend they can possibly, get a hold of, right? Or a combination of any of the above. So and it's really important to understand this. When you go to strengthen your resilience, it's your resilience, and it's going to be unique to you, just like your unique offer, your unique medicine in this world. No matter what anyone else has experienced, your soul's calling is going to be only yours. So in the right hand, in the parallel column, you write down all the resources that you accessed to cope during your difficult time, to move through, to grow, to heal, whatever that was. Okay. And when you do this, you'll start to see themes. You'll start to see themes in the hardships. You'll see repetitive, patterns of whatever it is. In my case, there was a lot of abandonment in my family. So a lot of self-denial came out of that. There was just a pattern of neglect and abandonment. And so I began to neglect and abandon myself. And what ended up happening for me over the years, being compelled as I was from a very young age to heal and grow, is that I really began to midwife my own self, my own sort of sovereign soul back into existence. And so the whole midwifing kind of process of, seeding, holding space for gestation, and then holding space for a birthing process became something I did with myself, and now something that I do with all of my clients. And that was cultivated from a very, very young age. You'll start to see themes too when you do the Lifeline exercise. And you'll also start to see themes in your resilience pattern by the kinds of resources that you accessed repeatedly to cope and to heal and to grow. It's a very simple but very powerful activity. So before I share, just a couple of minutes here, I'm going to be very quick with my last statement, my last share here, and then I'll tell you a couple of ways that I can offer you to go deeper as well. So I really want to stress the fact that we're living in this amazing time. No one is new to that. That's not news to anybody here, I'm sure. But not only is it a time when, you know, you're here to really do your best work and be your most amazing self, not only is it a time when the world needs that more than ever, it's a time when your ideal clients or customers are seeking this more than ever. People are looking for deeper solutions. They're looking for much deeper meaning because so much has been taken away. And so there's been a stripping away, a stripping down. It's been a tough time for everybody, just like the tough times we're talking about and how they cultivated special gifts and lessons. This is another tough time. So people are really receptive. They're looking for the right healer, the right coach, the right mentor, the right teacher. And so there's a match, and you're here to be a part of those solutions, those unprecedented solutions. So you can be your quirky, road less traveled, not cookie cutter self now. You can be in your deepest soul's calling now. And as long as it's moving you, it will move others, and it will be exactly what they need. So I just want to give you that sort of assurance and that sort of a little bit of a cheerleader talk there. It's the truth. It's my personal experience as well as that of countless clients right now. So I want to offer you two things. My website is michelleatlas.com, and in the right margin, you can take my free money archetype personality quiz if you'd like, and that will flesh out your money personality, your natural money gifts and strengths, and your money blind spots, your money shadows within the context of archetypes. It's very powerful. That's free on my website, michelleatlas.com, in the right margin. I hope you'll all take advantage of that. And I also want to offer you, and I'm going to quickly grab the link here and put it in the chat, an opportunity for a shine in the dark session with me. This is a complimentary private session with me that I only have offered once before, and I've got availability this week and next, I think for the next 10 days or so. I've created the bandwidth for a shine in the dark session where we can do a very personal kind of, go in there with the flashlight and really look around and do a personal excavation. We'll go on our own personal private archaeological dig and see what's really, really pushing at the boundaries to come forth, to be brought forth, to be birthed, so that you are more deeply moved by your own life and you can move and touch others and make the money that you so deserve. So feel free to go ahead and schedule one of those if you'd like. And if you have difficulty finding a time, just contact me directly, and you can find my contact info on my website very easily. So thank you all so very much. We're right on time.
Well done, Michelle. Thank you. Thank you so much for what you shared. There are a lot of great insights there. And I was thinking myself how it's interesting to think about how moved are you by your work and put it on a scale, and then watch over your life kind of as it evolves. Are you moving towards being more satisfied or less satisfied? I think that's a great thing to start paying more attention to. And
Yeah, absolutely.
reach out to Michelle with that offer. That sounds really nice. Thank you for making that available for everybody.
Absolutely. My pleasure. Oh, you're so welcome. Thank you,
Yeah.
everybody. Wonderful to be with you.
Thank you for being here. Thank you for being part of Love and Rebellion.